Hey guys, it's Maymay, and check these out. These are the cutest little things. Look at this photo here where it shows them used for gift wrap. I'm going to use these little wood shapes as napkin rings. The minute I saw them, I thought these are perfect for napkin rings. And get this out without the plastic making too much noise. And we can use our scrapbook paper in home decor. I love to be able to mix my love for paper and home decor, so let's do it. Now, I'm going to be digging into a couple of paper pads, and yes, this one is not Christmas, and yes, this one is Christmas, but I'm going to be using these paper pads to make this happen. And on this guy, on one side, I'm going to use just a different mix match of papers, okay? And on this one, I think I'm going to use that little red plaid on one side. So I'll have two-sided or double-sided napkin rings. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to run through and pick out what pages I want to use. And shockingly, I don't think I'm going to use buffalo check, but the reason is my napkins are buffalo check, and I tend to use a lot of buffalo check in my home decor. So I thought if I didn't do that, then they wouldn't clash too awful bad in the final project. So let me pick up my papers. So let me show you what I decided. I like how these kind of coordinate, and I like the pop of red, and I think that'll be really pretty on the trees against my black and white napkins. So what I'm going to do is using one piece of my cardstock, I'm going to get two of my trees, okay? So I'll have one in this area, and then I can take this guy and flip him over and put him in this area. So I'm going to trace these guys. So let me get my pencil. So you don't have to trace them. You could glue them down and then just use your craft knife and cut them out. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to trace them because here's what I think will happen. I think it will give me a tiny little lip, a little edge of extra cardstock because my pencil won't go exactly flush with the image, if that makes sense. And then I can use my nail file trick and file the cardstock down perfectly, and it'll look like they were like made that way, like melded together. All right, so I'm just going to trace all of my trees just like this, okay? So there's one. You can't see it, but it's there. I'm going to trace the other one. And I want to point something out to you. This little pack, 3 of the trees are one shape, and then 3 of the trees are more of a square shape, but I think that's cute. I think that I can alternate them on my table. All right, so let me get my tracing done. So one of the reasons I wanted to point out to you that the trees are a little different is because 2 of these are going to be the curvy tree, okay? And then 1 of these, and then that means 2 of them will be my straight tree and 1 of these, all right? Just if that matters to you, you might want to pay attention to it. It doesn't matter to me which one they are. I just wanted to make sure that you saw that. Okay, so I got everything traced, and now it's time to cut it out. And this will take a little bit, but I'll tell you something fun. So I have always, since my kids were little, made Christmas craft every year with them. I thought while I was cutting out, I would tell you some of our fun Christmas craft stories. So one of my favorites is we had just moved to a new house. It was actually our first home that Vince and I had ever purchased together here in the town we live in Clanton. And the house had acorns all in the yard. Like, I was not used to that. I'd never had acorns just everywhere, and they were everywhere. I mean, plentiful. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to make use of these acorns this year, and I got the kids to go outside and harvest acorns. So at the time, it was just Jared and Josh, so my 2 oldest boys. They headed outside, and they took a tablecloth with them, and they filled that tablecloth with acorns, and they brought it back inside, and maybe they didn't take the tablecloth out at this point. I can't remember. They filled up something with acorns and brought them inside. And I was like, well, these are cute, but we got to do something to kind of dress them up. So I decided to spray paint them gold. And then I had in my stash these 2 large embroidery hoops that I had just been saving. So I decided to spray paint those gold and then hot glue them to embroidery hoops. Now, this is when I started to learn that the craft project needs to fit the age group I'm working with. Because my oldest son at the time, I think he was about 13 or so. And so using a hot glue gun for him should not have been an issue. And Josh was only about, let's see, if he was 13, Josh would have been maybe 7, something like that. So I'm thinking, Jared could use a hot glue gun, no problem. You know, he can be beside me and watch me. And then I can put the glue down and Josh can put the acorn in it, was what I was thinking. Well, as we got started, I realized that hot glue guns and Jared are not buddies. That's not his thing. Now, I don't know how he is nowadays. He may watch this and be like, Mom, but I don't know how he is nowadays, but hot glue guns are not his thing. And so the more we got into it, the more miserable he was. And that was actually our first Christmas craft we ever did. And that's when I realized, okay, I've got to pay attention to what I'm doing next time because he's not enjoying this. So that was the first year, although I loved those embroidery hoop wreaths. They turned out gorgeous. They were huge and so cheap because, we just got acorns out of the yard. They were beautiful, though. My dining room at the time had like a gold faux finish. This is that long ago where I had sponged gold onto my walls. Anyway, so then another one we did, which I thought was hilarious, was I decided I wanted to do these little banner ornaments that had words on them. They were really, really cute. I wish I had pictures. Y'all know I had a house fire. I lost all of this stuff, and I wish I had pictures of it. But it was so cute. They're little banners that we created, and basically I did the handwriting on the banners, and then what I wanted to do was glitter them. But I am not a loose glitter person, never have been. So what I decided to do then was to use glitter nail polish because that's what I had. This is back in the day. I didn't have any kind of like stickles or any kind of like glitter sealant. Like even Mod Podge has glitter in it now, right? But I didn't have any of that. So I went to my my cabinet and got out glitter clear. It was actually iridescent glitter nail polish. And we started to paint those banners. Now, those banners weren't very big. When I say a banner, that probably sounds big, but they were just like pieces I had cut out of cereal boxes, about like this, and they had a little ribbon tail on the end. They said like peace and love and joy. They were really cute, and they were little. So we go to painting those things with nail polish. And let me just tell you something. That is a no-no. There is not enough ventilation. And I realized at some point that we were getting a little silly. I was like, okay, we need to take a break and take this outside. And so we ended up finishing one a piece, and that was it. That's all we could do because of the fumes we had created. But again, it's one of my learning curves. Now I know I have to be careful about what products I use. It was so funny. I love all my memories from it. Then the last story I'll tell you, and I know you may not, you're like, I didn't know this was a story time video. The last story I'll tell you is one year we went to Gatlinburg for Christmas, actually for Thanksgiving. And my niece and nephew were with us, and mom and dad were with us, and it was a bunch of us. And we decided to do Christmas craft while we were together. And I had to come up with something. Well, what I decided to do was to buy little glass ornaments, just glass round ornaments, and turn them into snowman heads. And I think my mom still has one of these. And if she does, I think they're in her home tour. If you want to watch her Christmas home tour, I'm pretty sure they're in there. She's got a lot of our Christmas crafts because the kids would make them for her too. So check out her home tours. I'll link all that below. So this year we were in the mountains, and I wanted to make these little snowman ornaments. So we went and picked up the little glass ornaments, I think from like Walmart or something. And then I was like, what will we use for their scarf? And we bought sheets of felt, and we hand cut out their little scarves. And we used styrofoam balls for their little heads, if I remember correctly. But the best part was I was like, what are we going to use for their little hats? Where am I going to find the perfect size little black top hats? And it turned out that because we'd been at the cabin, we bought bottles of water for that trip. We usually don't do that at home. We usually just have refill. We just refill our water bottles or whatever, our metal bottles. But we had all these bottles we kept throwing away. And I was like, wait a minute, those caps will work perfect. So we ended up using the cap part as his little top hat, but I can't remember what we used for the little brim. I want to say it was buttons, that I found buttons that would work. I can't remember exactly, but that year we all made Christmas craft up there, and that year it was everybody, even my dad participated in that year, and that was super fun. So the memories from all of our Christmas crafts, they're so fun to look back on. Oh, I said that was the last story. I have one more, and it's a quick one. One year we made little felt stitched ornaments, which was a lot of fun. It was a little harder for the kids, but Josh wanted to make a stocking. And so he started making his little stocking, and he glued his little magnet. They were magnets for the fridge. He glued his little magnet on the back, and when he got done, it was on backwards, like the stocking looked like a J. And he gave that to my mother, and she thought it was supposed to be a J for Josh, but it was supposed to be a stocking, and it just looked backwards. So anyway, it was cute. All right, there's your stories, our Christmas craft stories. It's fun to reminisce while crafting, right? So I hope that didn't bore you too much. I'm going to finish cutting these out and we'll get back to making them, putting them right back together. Okay, so I've just separated them out into their shape. Notice I didn't trace that. I'm going to cut that out with my knife. I think that'll be easier with my craft knife. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run glue, and I'm just using art glitter glue. But I get this question every time I do a wood project. I get asked, should I seal it? Should I use a different kind of glue, something stronger, what have you? Your art glitter glue is going to hold this paper down just fine. And if you want to seal this, I would just use like a Mod Podge, or don't use nail polish. Or I would use like a spray sealant even, but I never seal these projects. If you saw my my fall home tour, you would have seen my pumpkins that I made ages ago. I did not seal those. They live in the garage, you know, when they're not hanging on the wall or being used, and they're fine. So I don't stress about that. Now, if I was putting this outside, or if I was going to be using, like, if I thought I might use a cloth to clean them in some way, you know, like wipe them down or something, that'd be different. But I don't see me doing that with these. I think these are going to be just fine. All right, so there's that. And remember, we're doing something else to the other side. We're going to do another pattern on the other side. All right, so there's this one. So I'm going to let that one dry, and I'm just going to keep covering them. Now, again, I really want to do that, okay? But I'm not, because I'm putting it on my buffalo check napkin. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go with this side so it'll really pop. Okay, now that I've got this glued down, real quick, I'm going to come in here with my pen blade and cut these pieces out of the inside. So I'm just going to use my pen blade, and remember, more passes, less pressure, and you won't fight it as much. If you just kind of, see, I felt that go through. It's usually about 3 swipes. And then just cut that little edge. And then I'll cut this little edge. And then that piece will come right out. See? So then my ribbon will fit right through. All right, gonna run through and do those. So here we go. I got my little slices cut out, and I did okay. I did pretty good on a lot of them. But some of them I had some little rips and tears, but honestly, you won't see it. When my ribbon's through and the bow's tied, we'll be fine. What I want to do now is run around, and to save myself a little bit of time, anywhere that I'm hanging over, I'm just going to go ahead and do a little snip like this, anywhere my scissors will go. Because if I try to sand all that off, it just takes time. And if I do it this way, I can kind of save myself a second or two. So I'm just going to run around and trim off anything that hangs over the edge. So I did the trimming with my scissors, and now I'm just going to come in with my nail file. This one is worn out. I use it all the time. And I'm just going to file that down till it's flush. And to be honest, you don't have to do this. I got really close with my scissors, but I just kind of like how this looks when you do it. It just gives such a pretty look. It makes it just look like it's literally part of the wood underneath. So originally I'd planned to use that red and white paper from this pack and color the other side in case I wanted to flip them over. But I've had a different idea. I think this will be cool. What if I ever want them to be green, just green trees? I'm going to take, this is distressing. This is the oxide. It's called Mowed Lawn. I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag the back sides of these. Now, this may not be for everyone, and you probably will want to seal this because this is an oxide ink and it's water resistant, although it will dry and it will stop moving. But you might want to seal this, spray it with some clear sealer, or just rub some or paint some Mod Podge over it after it dries. So you might not love this as much if you don't want to do all that work. But look how cute that is green, right? So one side can be pattern, one side can be green, and I can use it either way. Okay, so I dragged those in green. And this is where I could completely derail this project, which I always say I might just stop one step before I get where I'm going. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to drag just more time. Vinny's in the room. He came in, he said, "Can I sit in?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can sit in." So you want to say hello?
Hello, everybody.
All right. It's Vintage Photo, and we're going to...
You do know that you always say that I go one step too far when I'm talking.
I'm going one step too far. I think I am. Let me do it so you don't have to, right?
Okay.
Okay, that's what I tell them all the time. All right, Vintage Photo, a light drag. Because I do know that multiple colors look best. I mean a light drag. I just want a little bit of distress on my trees. I don't want to stress, but I want a little distress. What do you think? It's not bad. You dislike it? I like it.
No, I don't dislike it.
I like it. I think it keeps them from being just stark green and gives them a little bit of, I want to go light with my drag. So I'm barely touching. That looks good. I like that. All right, so I'm going to drag all of them in this second color.
I mean, you are barely even putting it on there.
Barely. I'm not trying to do anything but give it, I just want it to look almost like a distressed wood. So I'm not being heavy-handed at all. That's so cute. I like them. Plus I have the, you didn't see the paper on the other side yet, have you? Because I covered the other side in paper.
I saw the other side when they were laying over there.
Well, I can't see the forest for the trees, but look at that.
It looks good.
I think they turned out cute. I like that little touch of brown just to bring them a little more rustic. I like the white spaces. I'm trying to do that. Brenda tells me all the time, leave some white spaces. And look, the backside gives me these cute little patterns so I can flip them either way I want. I gotta be honest, I'm really liking this green. And I'm glad I didn't do paper on both sides because it gives me options. I think that's cool. All right, so I'm gonna let these dry. I may not seal them. I may not. I'm gonna let them dry, and then I'm gonna get ribbon and put them around a napkin and show you what they'll look like. Okay, so this is one of my buffalo check napkins, and I want to put the green on here, and I've already tied one in the red to show you in just a second. But here's what I'm going to do. Do I want to use black or do I want to use red ribbon? Let's see. I kind of think I like the black. The black looks very elegant to me. Not that anything in my home is elegant, but it'll still be cute. So I'm going to use some black. So I'm using my pink and shears, and I'm going to cut some of this ribbon with my pink and shears. I think that looks kind of cute on the ends. And you're going to have to give yourself more than you need at first because you don't really know how much you're going to need. But once you do one, you can untie it and then use that same length for the rest of them. But I'm going to get this one done. I'm just going to feed this through one of the slots to one side. And then I'm going to feed it through the other side. Just like so. And then look what I noticed. If you do this, you can take this and pull it. And it'll bring your napkin up. And you can decide how tight you want it. Now, I do not use these napkins. No one uses these. So I can tie this permanently and leave it. Or, you know, permanently for the season. And just leave it. So I'm going to do that. And now, let's make a bow in the middle. Now, one thing I want is I don't want my bow huge because I don't want it to take away from the tree. So I'm going to dial these in a little bit. And something you can know about me is I will mess with these all season long. When I clean my table, I will readjust them. That's just who I am. Bows and me get adjusted. All right. So there's that. And then I'm just going to pink and shear the edge. Because I think that little edge is cute like that. Let me turn this so I can get to it. Oops. I would. Okay. So look, I don't know. The red might have been cute, but I like that little touch of black. And you can slide that little tree up so you can see it. And you could use a smaller ribbon if you wanted to, if you wanted your tree to just super be the focus. So there's one, but look at this one. So I had Shannon bring in one of her napkins. And look, hers is beautiful with her W on it for woodfin. Isn't it gorgeous? But look at it with the little red tree. And all I did on it was tie a knot and do the little pink and shears. Isn't that cute? I love these. Imagine with your silverware tucked in. That'd be cute too, right? So there you go. Thanks so much for watching. And you know the deal. If you make these, I want to see them. So head over to our customer gallery at maymaymadeit.com and share with us photos of what you're making. And if you need inspiration, there are more than 2,000 projects posted there. It's like our own personal Pinterest. So go check it out. I'll put a link in the description below to our gallery so you can get to it super quick. Hey, thanks so much for watching today, guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye now.